So your students have made a great deal of achievement gains this year, and we're interested in learning more about how your instruction has facilitated that growth. So tell us a little bit more about, to start with, how you use data in the classroom.
When they walk in the classroom, they do something called a launch, which is basically the question that they were supposed to have been able to master from the day before. So they walk in and I collect data based on what they still know today. At the end of class, they do 2 exit tickets, which is a first attempt at solving a problem that is based around our objective for the day, then go over it with all students, and then they get a second attempt.
I think it started out for me just wanting to know where my students were at and like how I could help those struggling students. But having adopted the process that I saw one of our teachers at one of our sister schools in Hayward using, where he was having the data tracker and students tracking their data on the wall. And I was intrigued by that system. I adopted that system in my classroom, and I saw how powerful it was for the students in that, I mean, suddenly they were so much more invested into wanting to do the drills and wanting to see like if they were actually growing.
Can you talk about the way you have utilized the available curricular resources in your classroom?
The curriculum resources that we have is just the use of the computer and the online software program that we have. It's called FlexMath, that has 2 components to it. A numeracy component that deals with all the numeracy skills that students should have coming into high school, as well as an algebra component that is supporting what is being done within the algebra classroom, and it provides that constant feedback.
Each day a student comes into my class, they pick up a packet, which is 10 pages usually, 8 to 12 pages of the math that they're expected to be able to do by the end of the 60 minutes. It has everything they need in it. It has notes pages, practice pages, and their homework, so that when they go home that night they can look back at their notes and refresh their memory on what we did during class. I'm really lucky to have clickers, which are a student response remote, where the students can click in their answers and I can immediately see the results and tabulate it publicly in front of everyone, so we can really celebrate the success at the end of the class period.
What are some of the key instructional practices that you use?
So I think something that works in my classroom is students have a ton of opportunities in 60 minutes to demonstrate their learning. They get a lot of at-bats, as I like to call them, and I just really focus on a daily basis on making sure that every student has been at bat many times.
A lot of times our students are able to do the math. Like they have the skill down, and because it's a word problem and like they don't know the vocab or it's foreign to them, like they get tripped up on that. And so like what I would do, like at the beginning of a unit, I would look at like the high stakes vocab words that are pretty important to like the skill or the concept that's going to be taught, and think about how I'm going to explicitly deliver that content or that vocab word to the students to prepare for possibly that word problem that may come with this vocab embedded.
As we're talking about teaching and learning, I'm wondering about the structures within the school that are supporting your instructional practice.
So first off, all the 9th grade team has really common expectations, and they're high expectations that we hold our students to, which means that our students are receiving the message from all of their teachers throughout the day. Second of all, we have a homework center that is detention for student who doesn't complete their homework, which means students are held highly accountable for making sure they have their homework.
Have there been any network-wide structures or resources that have been particularly useful to you this year?
The CK-12 resources that the network has provided have pushed me towards building literacy in my own classroom. And I've started to see that the more I can get the kids talking and reading and writing about the math, the more I'm helping them cement their learning.
As you look towards next year, what are some areas of growth and development that you hope to really focus upon?
Next year I want to really start to push kids to use academic language more frequently and in more situations, because I think when they're talking about the math, they're really learning it.
integrating more literacy work because obviously both are linked, numeracy and literacy, and the more we can equip our students with both in terms of demonstrating mastery and being college ready, which is one of the big focus that we're thinking about as a network and as a school.